Welcome to an episode of the Gaming Kitchen, guys. It's been a while, so I'll get right into it. This episode is going to focus on the new DLC that just dropped this past Tuesday for Star Wars Battlefront. It's called the Outer Rim. It's the first of the next 3 paid DLCs that's going to come. The purpose of this video is mainly just to give my thoughts on it. I'm pretty sure it's going to coincide with how a lot of people feel about this game, and also for people who haven't purchased the DLC, the season pass, to see what you're getting in it. So I'm presenting a little bit of the gameplay for you guys to look at and gather your thoughts from that, because I sure will be giving mine as this video goes on. So the first thing we're going to look at is the HUT contracts. HUT contracts are these new weapons in which was a part of the free DLC download for everyone to have, where you use your credits, you pick a card. Jabba the Hutt has this hologram thing where you have goals in which you unlock in your matches, and by you doing that, you're able to select a gun or rifle or whatever when you pick it and you go on. Now, it's for those who have the DLC with Jabba's Palace, and you have 2 new people, heroes, I'm using that very lightly, with Nien Nunb and Greedo. They did spruce up the menus and everything, redirected where you're going to go for a 40-player match, a 12-player match, a hero match. They did change around a little bit of the rules with Hero Hunt, giving people ample chances depending upon how much damage you inflict on a hero, and things such as that. So there were some positive changes. I'll look at that as being a positive. They did listen to the community somewhat as to what people wanted. Now, to the paid DLC, this is the Outer Rim. Outer Rim maps consisted of the Sullust factory in Sullust. You have another factory level in Sullust that I forgot. You have Jabba's Palace and Jabba's Garage. And you have a new mode called Extraction. Being said, these are the levels. Looking at them graphically, they look good. I mean, DICE has done an amazing job with the graphics in this game. I can't bash that. I can't even go against that. I said that in my other videos. The game looks beautiful. In fact, I've always said, and I said before and I say it now, if you take the HUD off, it looks like you're walking in a movie. That's never been a problem. The problem with this DLC, and I have to break this down in intricate things because there's a lot wrong in which this game, if it changes in the future, I'll be the first to say something about it, but right now, it makes you kind of regret getting the season pass. Because I feel like, personally, EA is really good at trolling their customers. And this isn't on DICE. DICE just happens to be underneath EA. EA is the one that makes all the decisions on these games. They're the ones that tell people directions on where to go, and if you've been a fan of Madden, you tend to know the frustration with a lot of people and what they have with EA. But nonetheless, the season pass, which created controversy when it back in October, I think, it deservingly welcomes controversy. And it does when you have a game that calls itself an expansion and is supposed to provide exclusive content, and it's been documented on the forums that the only exclusive content in which you had when you purchased the season pass, including, or you purchased the $69.99 copy or the $130 copy, or wherever it cost, which was too much anyway, that the only exclusive content was the shoot first emote. So that's where you're at now in this age of gaming, where exclusive content went from bonus level, bonus costume, to now an emote that counts as content. I come from a different generation of gaming. I come from a generation where you earned your levels, you earned your costumes, you earned secrets and trinkets in your game by playing it. The games did come meatier than what they do now, and they weren't released as incomplete products. This game receives so much flack because it released content that is so bare boned, it's not even funny. And honestly, I've tried super hard to not be negative on this game. I'm not. I've tried to find so many positives and so many things that's not even funny. And as I mentioned earlier in the video, it's a very positive thing. Like that they added the rolling techniques to this game. They've tweaked a few things. They buffed Vader. Why they decreased Luke's speed, it made him a little bit weaker. It's beyond me, but whatever. The content in this game just does not provide enough for someone to be satisfied with. I'll say it like this. The amount of content in which we have at this point in late March to what we had in November is impressive. But all the content we have now should have been on this game when it released in November. Minus Jakku, because that was some special little promotion thingamajiggy that they had with The Force Awakens, and so whatever. But overall, this game still lacks a lot of material. And I think that DICE came up with all this stuff with the HUT contracts and everything to get people back into the game, for them to focus on the game so that they can play it longer to try and achieve something. Which, honestly, my gut feeling tells me that they made HUT contracts. Now, if you focus on HUT contracts, you'll be able to knock it out in a day. But if you're an adult, you have a life, and you got things to do, you're not going to. I think they made it this difficult in order to, yet again, do some little sketchy backtracking on microtransactions. Which is another reason why a lot of people are starting to hate this game. They came out in October and said that there were no microtransactions that was going to be done with this game. This was it. This is all you had. If you earn your unlocks, you get your weapons, you get your stuff, you move on. Then they came out, 2 months later, and now people can buy ranks, people can buy packets, people can buy packages and weapons and stuff like that in the marketplace. So that's still microtransactions, and it's just EA being EA. It's EA being EA. It's not even DICE's fault. Just like how Madden is not Tiburon's fault. It's EA's fault. They're the ones that sit up there and make the big decisions on to release these games to find ways to squeeze more money out of people's pockets. And it's kind of disgusting. I feel like DICE likes Star Wars. I feel like DICE loves Star Wars. But I feel like the people who actually do matter in making the decisions for these games don't like Star Wars. They like money. In fact, they love it. And the reason why the season pass, my opinion, the first season pass, is a disappointment is because it just comes with 4 maps and a game mode. All the other stuff that came with it came with the free update for other people. The weapons in which you unlock that are new, you can have those without the maps. So you're kind of getting skimped on the season pass. And I know there are people out there who say, well, you got the game, so you know what you were walking into. And true, I can't argue that. I really can't argue that. It's a very valid argument. But at the same time, if you're going to sell somebody a game that's bare boned, and you're selling somebody a game on the basis of promising more content and exclusive content, an emote is not what I consider to be exclusive content. I don't really care about an emote. I care about levels. I care about the things that will keep me occupied with the game. I sit up there and I play a game that still has the problems that it has in Fighter Squadron, where I'm still flying around with the Millennium Falcon and the Slave One, and you have added no new heroes to that thing. Because, let's be honest, you had Darth Vader. You had Darth Vader, who should be in there. Luke Skywalker should be a hero. You can't come up with anything else. Why is it so hard for people to come up with something in this game to satisfy the people? It's really not rocket science. Like, people want space battles, people want offline mode, people want a single player mode, and people want, and again, if I have to say it again, space battles, because it's Star Wars. What? In all 7 movies, how many battles happen in space? How much travels in space? Star Wars is all about space. Space, battles, wars, Star Wars. It's in the word, Star Wars. Whereas you play this game, and they come out with all these levels and all this DLC, and they've yet to address the issue. I really don't think they will. I think that, they made the game they wanted to make for themselves. EA wanted a game to be made to where they, excluded the prequel trilogy from the original trilogy, and they excluded the other stuff from everything else so that they can release games on a bi-yearly or yearly ordeal, sell season passes for people, and upon selling season passes for people, they can grab more money. In turn, they grab more money from people. They make content difficult for you to get because there are people out here who really don't care for sitting around playing a game to rank up. So what they do is they tell you that they're not going to do microtransactions. Then they do microtransactions. And then upon doing microtransactions, you now have people who get into the game day one, spend about $14, $15 to rank up, and they're up there with you. This is why people have a problem with EA. It's like, it's like you're sitting down talking to that one friend, and that friend constantly does things that anger people and ticks them off and offends them. And that one friend always sits down and says, well, how come people don't like me? And you sit down and you tell them, well, this is why, because A, B, C, and D. This is the same thing with EA. This is why people don't like you. This is why the gaming community has a problem with you, because you take a good game. You take a game that should have had great content in it. You then release the game, which was hardly not finished. You released a bare bone game. You expect people to sit by and be patient with this. And then you still do microtransactions at the end of it. You still do. Now, the microtransactions, I just want to be clear, does not impact the game as a whole. It's like you can still get the weapons in the game. They're not trying to sell stuff for you to get where you can't obtain it. However, it said no microtransactions. So now you backtracked on that. Now we're sitting up here and it's March with the first DLC that just got released. And then the first two heroes that they release is Greedo and Nien Nunb, or Nine Nunb, or whatever. I mean, are they really heroes? They seriously stood up there and said that these were iconic heroes. Greedo is iconically known for getting blasted in the face by Han Solo in about, 2 minutes worth of screen time? Nien Nunb is famous for his laugh and doubting Han Solo being able to take down a shield generator. And he also happened to be on a Millennium Falcon when it destroyed a Death Star. Now, that to say, I heard he's in Battlefront Twilight Company, so okay, good. But is he still a hero? Is he an iconic character? What did he do in the movies? I mean, he was in The Force Awakens, and even then he didn't destroy the Starkiller base, so what did he do? And it's like you sit up here and you paid money for this, and it's like, is this what I paid for in the season pass? I paid for Nien Nunb and Greedo. Like, it's just, this is why people don't like your games, EA. This is seriously why. Because every time you guys have a chance to redeem yourselves in the games that you publish and in the games that you give to people, you do stuff like that, where you ignore the gaming community. They ignore the gaming community. They don't pay attention to what the people will like or need or want, because the people at the end of the day are the ones paying for the game. They instead make the games, and I keep saying it like a broken record, but they keep making the games they want to make. I don't understand why, because they're not playing it, but that's just where it's at. So what do I think about the heroes? I mean, in the game, Greedo and Nien Nunb, they're really effective. Once you move past the fact that it's a joke that they made them two heroes, they're really effective. Greedo has, grenades. He has a thermal detonator. He has a diox gas. He has first shot, which is crazy because Han Solo shot first. It's even documented in the script that Peter Mayhew uploaded to Twitter that he shot first. So whatever. And then he gets in some little sensory where he can sense stuff and read stuff and everything. I mean, was he in the movies for long? Is he going to be in Rogue One? Probably not. He was in A New Hope. He got blasted. The only reason why he's even popular is because it deals with who shot first, because of the alter that happened in the special edition in 97. Not enough to make a hero. I would have rather had Bossk, Dengar, IG-88, Chewbacca. That's a hero. That's an iconic hero. Obi-Wan Kenobi, it's an iconic hero. I'll even take Grand Moff Tarkin. At this point, I'll take Grand Moff Tarkin. It's kind of concerning that with the Bespin DLC, you'll probably get the guy running out with the ice cream maker machine as an iconic hero. This is why they get flack. This is why people don't let up on them. I don't know. It's the DLC to me, in my honest opinion. It's a good move in the right direction. At this point, with all that said, with all my ranting and all that stuff out the way, it's moving in the right direction. Meaning, they're starting to listen to the community as to what the community wants and what they want to get out of it and what they're listening to. Because DICE did come out and say that there are certain things in which they can implement, there are certain things in which they can't implement. And they don't want to say anything or give out any message or something that's going to delay time or stop something or and make the community even worse. I just think this whole thing, at the end of the day, is just such a big catastrophe. It's the lack of communication in the forums, lack of communication prior to, and it's starting to show. So, it leaves the community angry. If you go to an EA forum, you got a whole bunch of people up in arms, feeling ripped off, which, to be honest with you, if you think about HUT contracts, truthfully, it kind of is a ripoff. It kind of is, because it's really leading to microtransactions, another packet of microtransactions. Because what's going to happen is you're going to have people who are going to play these HUT contracts. It's going to be impossible to get 10 kills with these clunky guns that people don't use. And upon doing that, they're going to get frustrated. So they're going to start to take the easy route, which is buy this stuff and avoid it altogether. So it's like, did they make it to make it more challenging for you to stay with the game? Yeah, but at the same time, they're killing two birds with one stone. They're making it challenging for you to stick with the game, and they're making it for people to have a way to get microtransactions in there so that they can buy the stuff that you're earning right now at, say, when you get 15 psycho rifle kills or something like that. It's just that way to make money. All around the way, you come back to, where you left. It's all about to make money. Which, if you go back to October, they said no microtransactions. They said this stuff, so it's not like I'm making this up. It's not like anybody else is making this up. It's there. It's in the media for people to read. I think that they're releasing the free content every single month to bring people back. The free content that should have been in the game first day of purchase. I shouldn't have to be sitting up here waiting by February or something to get that type of stuff. All in all, I really want to like this game. I really do. And I'm not sharing this opinion because it's the popular opinion. A lot of people go with the win. I'm sharing this sentiment because, from experience, this game is frustrating. Dealing with DICE is frustrating. Dealing with EA, because DICE is being held by a leash. They can't really say anything. They can't tell you when the content's being out. They can't tell you what's being done. You sit up there and you create these wish lists, these forums that have wish lists that have been out for months, even years, year and a half. And people have been waiting 10, 11 years for a third Battlefront game. And when you hear the DLC be announced, you get Nien Nunb and Greedo. Now, from my point of view, as much as have disappointment with this game, as much as I have disappointment with the DLC, from a standing back from it and adding towards it, the past 2 to 3 months have been pretty good. They've added more material, they added more maps, they've added more free content, and that's good. Like I said before, I think they're heading in the right direction. I think that in the next 4 to 5 months, when you get into the summer, probably around June, July, when they release the Bespin DLC, hopefully they listen more to the community. Hopefully they add more space vehicles. Hopefully they'll sneak in a Dagobah in there during the Bespin thing, because that is Empire Strikes Back content. Hopefully they'll do that stuff. But I don't know why I'm sitting up here in March and we're playing with Sullust, Tattooine, Endor, Jakku. I mean, there's more planets in the original trilogy. Now, if they're kind of scraping for content, that's their problem. You know, they're the ones that chose to do the original trilogy. Out of all the trilogies, well, to this point, because the sequel trilogy is not done yet, but at this point, the only trilogy that has a big bulk of content in it, which you can use multiple heroes, multiple villains and stuff, is the prequel era. You can use Clone War DLC, you can use episode 1, 2, 3, and anything in between, including all the comics and stuff. They chose to go with the original trilogy. So, you know, if you're having to scrape the bottom of the barrel to get Greedo and Nia Num out, you need to reevaluate your selection process of what an iconic hero is for a game. But it's hard to defend this game. It's hard to defend the content. It's hard to defend anything from EA, because in all honesty, I mean, what is there? You know, what are they going to pick for heroes next? You know, that the little mouse droid that's in the Death Star, is that going to be a hero? I mean, come on, this stuff is crazy. So, you know, after I said all of this and all of that, I have to say I do regret getting the season pass. I even will go as far as say I regret getting the game, because I think this game, along with the community and along with how EA communicates with its people, ultimately makes you want to retire from gaming. This game frustrates you on a level that is just unbelievable, because it takes every single ounce of you as a gamer to love this game. You want to. It's Star Wars. In fact, that's the only reason why people are still playing this game. If this was Call of Duty or something, this thing would have been off the shelf and have been gone. No one would even be talking about it. But because of Star Wars, it has a little bit of staying power, and people take this content to heart because they love Star Wars. They're fans of it. But season pass ain't worth it. At this point, not. And I hate to say that, you know, in these types of situations, when you're dealing with content that is subpar, and you're dealing with content in a game that's mediocre, the only way to communicate to a game company is to basically not buy the game. You have to vote with your wallet. You have to stand up there and say, look, you know, by me buying this game, I'm condoning what you're doing. By me buying the season pass, I'm condoning what you're doing. And I'll tell you right now, be honest with you, I've held out my judgment on this until this DLC came out, and I'll be the first one to say, like I said before, if it comes back and it's better as the months go on, I'll change my opinion. But at this point, I feel like I'm not helping either by doing this. You know, I didn't help by buying the game, and I didn't help by buying the season pass. I'm actually, by me paying for it, I'm telling EA, I'm comfortable with how you're doing this. I have no problem whatsoever. Because once you pay for the game, and once you pay for the season pass, they already have your money. They already have your season pass money. They don't care. They can release content like this. They can release, you know, content in which you spent $50 for 4 packs with 60 maps and characters like Greedo and Nia Num. or Neonum, whatever his name is. They can do that because they have your money. Now, if you stand up there and you don't buy their game, they have to go back and reevaluate what they've done wrong. But as long as they have your money, as long as you're paying for it, this is how it's going to be. And unfortunately, in this day and age, this is how gaming is. You know, you spend $60 out the door, you spend another $50 to purchase content. Then after you spend another $50, they do whatever they want with the content. They act like they're listening to you. They're really not. And that's just how it ends. So, hey, I think that EA needs more work on this. You know, this is where it's at. Overall, DLC is okay. In my taste, it's lacking. There needs to be more content that's going to come up, and there needs to be a whole new planet. Need to be new stuff. To you guys, if you want to get the season pass, I'm not going to tell you no. I'm not going to tell you yes. I'm going to tell you I did it so I can make videos of it. I regret getting it because this is lackluster to me, in my taste. If you want to do it, fine. I look at it as a way to hold me over for the Force Awakens Blu-ray that's coming out in like a couple of days, maybe a week, whatever. And that's about it. So, take the judgment from that, but, you know, I don't know. Greedo and I, no, man. Not heroes.